longest time, especially when I was at my lowest point, I felt like I refused to believe that I had an issue with mental health. I didn't think that I deserved to have any issues with mental health. What I did was I took pieces of fabric from that part in my life where I think you could probably consider it like one of my lowest points. In putting them together, it's saying like, hey, you know, I can put myself together too. There's beauty in chaos, and there's beauty in things not necessarily going a set way.
I could just always find excuses for myself. I think that's part of what makes it so difficult to deal with the problem if you don't want to accept that the problem's there. Once I started talking to my friends or writing about this, I'm much better off now.
I just found myself in a position where I just felt completely hopeless, and like it's complicated even to talk to peers about those kinds of things. Like people just don't really know what to say. My friend Max ran around me with the light pointing towards the camera. So I had these streaks kind of like enveloping me. That was like one of those first moments where I really like kind of got a glimpse into the possibilities, I guess you could say. It doesn't always have to be like me like being miserable.
Our parents came from a culture that might not necessarily have had the vocabulary or even the concept of mental health. When I was in high school, I definitely experienced this rough period of time where I really loved art and I really loved being able to express myself in this way. But my parents were initially opposed to it. Another thing that my parents always emphasized was like anchendi, which means like safety first and like taking care of yourself and taking care of your body. These scars and markers on my body are like a form of resilience, but to my mother they were very much a form of like neglect. And so yeah, the patchwork pants that I made were sort of walking the line between what I consider beauty and what people might consider repulsion. Because leather comes from animal skin, like it's like our skin in a way. It has a grain line and it has life to it. And so using hides that I found that were a similar tone to mine, I created a pair of pants by like cutting out patches, and this sounds really disturbing, but I like ripped into the patches with a knife and like cut my hands and like used my blood for them because I want it to be a very personal narrative.
I identify as gay, and I admit that I haven't come out to my Indian family yet. I wasn't able to share who I was like as a real person. One thing I like to do is kind of just take time and do something alone, whether it be like just eating alone or staying in my room and like watching a show that I used to watch as a kid. Food is one thing I'm very passionate about, like just not just trying foods and like going out, but also like creating like recipes or doing homemade things. Just doing that makes me really happy.
I think it's really hard to be a Vietnamese immigrant because I think the Vietnamese immigrant story is a story of being a refugee. It's a saying that's like what it means to live on the hyphen. It takes a toll on like how you see yourself and like how you identify. But I think surrounding myself with an AAPI community is really nice because you get to talk about experiences that no one else really shares. Providing a space is always important. Not necessarily like saying everyone needs to use it, but knowing that it's there. Just like playing music and dancing in itself is a way for me to not have to talk and not have to explain myself to anyone, but just I'm just moving through my own body. I also really like photography. I think it's a beautiful way to like look back on a moment and who you were then.
I'm from an island and like lots of people have different backgrounds, and I just felt like out of place. I didn't account for seasonal depression. I didn't account for the whole new Northeast culture, and everything just came down.
Being biracial, but like not like most people when I like meet them don't ever assume that I'm like half Indian. It feels sort of weird to have to like reaffirm my identity to other people all the time. But no, it's weird because like I try to like confine like my you know, what I'm dealing with to myself most of the time. When I get like really upset about things, the first thing I go to is like poetry. So yeah, I like being able to like identify with someone that doesn't exist.
The typical Asian American experience is like not very inclusive because the model minority has sort of eclipsed this whole like narrative of the AAPI experience that also happens in mental health.
My mom walked into my room and like asked what was wrong. And it was like very hard to tell her, but I was just very upset, so I told her that I feel crippled by depression. She had no idea. She thought everything was fine. And I think it's something that a lot of first generation Asian American college students feel. Like learning that it's okay to literally do nothing. Like we all have tests coming up during finals, but it's okay.
Taking that time to breathe and be on my own instead of like trying to feel obligated to all these other people and things and being obligated to myself, I think it's just so incredibly important for everyone to realize kind of like way that dance and other art forms can be an outlet, and like combining that with that community aspect of having other people and teammates that you can depend on and also share your story with is something that really for me makes dance and the dance community a form of expression as well as a really comforting safe space to be able to share these parts of myself with.
In terms of other outlets, dancing is a big thing. B-boying is like just like turning that into energy that you can do to improve yourself. Outlets like, I guess like this is really good to like talk to people and share a story.
I have these two meditation balls, and I've been using them when I've had to struggle or deal with battles with ensuing mental illness. It's definitely overwhelming when like you're in this alone because you feel like you're against the world.
I started journaling this summer before I came to college. Whenever I feel like I need to express myself or like let something out that I feel like I can't do with other people, I turn to my journal. It's more just like an unfiltered like whatever. Because I feel like what I'm going through now is like it's like a really transformative time in my life, and it's kind of like keeping me grounded, and like looking back at my old stuff is like really nice.
The culture, I guess, for Asian Americans is very, I want to say clinical almost in a sense. Showing my parents that I love them was like doing well in school or being successful. That's what it was for me. Music was huge. For me, it's a way to release my emotions that I'm feeling at the time, or just to have fun, connect with people.
When I was younger, I was really insecure. I think probably in like first grade, I was introduced to origami. There was some traditions like how you could fold 1,000 stars and make one wish. Every time I folded a new star, that it was going to be my goal for the next day to try making a friend and try fixing the problem I had with myself.
For different people, recovery is a different thing. All of us, we should embrace the different ways in which we recover, in which we find happiness. When we're put back together, we make peace with our different pieces, then we're all still, unique, and we have our own stories and we can share, and it makes us more open to understanding how other people deal with their pain. And I think the most important thing first is to say your feelings are valid.
There's a bear inside your stomach, a cup's been kicking.